If you clicked on this video, I'm guessing you're one of two people. Firstly, you're someone who wants to start an online business, you're researching your options on YouTube, and you clicked on this video because you're curious if this is a business model that you want to start, right? Or secondly, you might be someone who has tried an online business before, but maybe it didn't work, or maybe you didn't, get it up and running properly. It could have been dropshipping, it could have been an agency. And so you're looking for your next move and you clicked on this video. So either way, welcome. And what I'm going to do is explain to you the business model that I've done and have generated over 7 figures with in the past couple of years, and explain to you why I believe it's the best to start, especially for beginners, and how you can get started. All right. So let's get straight into it. Now, the first thing you're probably wondering is like, what is this business and what do you do and how is it different from others? So what it is called shadow operating. Well, that's the term I like to call it. I just nearly bumped my drink. It's a ghost here. And so, yeah, like basically this is where you go out, find an influencer to partner with, build a digital product on the back end, launch and split the revenue. And so why is this good, right? Is because firstly, you don't have to build your own audience. You don't have to build your own personal brand. You don't even have to show your face or run ads. So literally all the difficult things when it comes to online business that maybe has made you hesitant to start. You think that maybe you need to, post content consistently or go out and build a brand, something that you don't want to do or not ready to do yet. Well, this is your perfect start because you're able to get a taste of online business, more than a taste actually. You're able to make a decent income. I'm talking 10K per month plus, yet you don't need to risk showing a face and, building a brand if you don't want to. And so that's the first reason why I believe it's the best. Secondly, it's very minimal risk because when you find an influencer and you build something for them, the tools that you'll use aren't so expensive. So you could actually build this and essentially, rinse and repeat and use the same tools for multiple influencers. So it's very high profit. Honestly, it's 85 to 90% profit margin here. So unlike dropshipping that requires ad spend, inventory, or agency where you got to hire out fulfillment or run ads, right? These are very cost intensive businesses and very not really beginner friendly, you could say, because if you need to spend $5,000 on ads before you even know if a product works, well, that's a super high risk business to me versus this, there's no risk for you. There's no risk for the influencer. You launch it. If it does well, it's 90% profit. And so that's exactly the business I started. This is shadow operating business. I found an influencer. I partnered with him. We launched a business coaching program and yeah, we made over $1 million from that. So another reason why I believe it's the best right now is because it's honestly a blue ocean, okay? And what I mean by that? Well, you think about how many influencers are out there. There's millions of influencers, but when you go and you see how many of them are actually monetizing properly, the number is a very small percent. And so this is where you can come in. You can essentially reach out to them, make it clear to them that there's a gap in their monetization, and offer you as a solution to actually build a product, course or community, whatever it is, for them to promote, right? And so that's what you can do and explain to them. You're not asking for money up front. You're actually saying, don't pay me up front. Let me just basically take a percentage of the revenue so that way there's zero risk for you. And whatever money I help you generate that you wouldn't have otherwise, I will just take 30 to 40% from that, right? And so that's kind of the approach you want to take when you go out to the influencer. And now you can see how this is one of the best ones you can start. 1, high profit margins. 2, blue ocean, not many people are doing this business model. So you're never going to have a problem finding a client. And 3, honestly, very low cost, very low risk for you and the influencer. So that's why I believe it's the best one to start. And I think you can draw some comparisons now from the other business models that you may have seen on YouTube and may have watched. So yeah, if you're interested in this, definitely keep watching. I'm going to get into more detail here. So the first thing you want to do to get started is actually become a skilled like shadow operator. So how do you do this? Well, you should spend some time learning like copywriting, how to build an offer, how to build a funnel, how to set up like a website, how to do marketing, email marketing. So yeah, first become good, right? Because let's say you reach out to the influencer, they say yes, it's like, okay, now what? So I would highly recommend to spend some time learning these skills, set up these softwares yourself, get familiar with them, and yeah, basically become good at being a full stack entrepreneur. That's what I like to call it. So you should know how to build a website, a sales page, a funnel, like where you actually build the product. So get familiar with these tools. Once you've done that, then what you want to do is actually get good at reaching out to influencers, because honestly, it's a numbers game, and the better you can present your offer to them, the more likely that they'll say yes or reply to you, right? So the process looks like, okay, you want to get your influencers, reach out to them, get them on a call, and then get them to say yes to a partnership. That is essentially the steps that you want to take. Of course, you're going to need to message quite a few influencers, and you're going to want to do this consistently, because it's not like one thing where you go, okay, let me message like 50 today and then that's it. No, you want to be messaging like 10, 20 a day ongoing until you get a partnership, right? So you need to be able to be consistent, just like any other business model. But the best part is, it's pretty easy to do. You're literally just sending DMs on your phone, which you probably do anyway with your friends. So yeah, you're just going to have to do this with influencers, right? And then once you get them to reply to you, the next step is to get them on a call. Now, you're probably a bit worried about this, or like, oh, how do I take the call? Well, there you go. You should actually prepare for the call. So maybe you need to learn about like how to take a call, and how to convince someone to work with you, and how to present an offer. Like these are all skills and things that I teach in my one-on-one coaching program, and actually help clients get partnerships, which I've done many times. But yeah, these are the things that you need to know to actually make this business work. But what I can tell you is, once you've learned these skills and you've done it once with one influencer, repeating the process is so easy. And that's where you're going to experience that exponential growth, that you're just going to be able to, get 1, 2, 3 influencers, have all the like businesses set up so that you're only working like 3 or 4 hours a day. And then you have time, location, financial independence that doesn't require you to show your face, post consistently, or build a personal brand. So yeah, that's kind of like the dream setup that you can get to, but you have to be willing to put in the groundwork. And like I said, learning the skills, reaching out consistently, doing this business with one influencer first, getting good at it, generating revenue, and then you can repeat the process and get to this point where you're making like 20, 30K a month working with a couple influencers. And that is honestly like the goal. So, another thing is like, you're probably wondering, what do I actually build for the influencer? Now, this honestly depends on the influencer themselves, how much time they have, what niche are they in, how big is their audience. So there are a lot of factors. So I can't give you like a blanket solution, you could say. But what I can tell you is, it might be a course. So let's say the influencer doesn't want to dedicate too much time to this, or they just want to film the content once and be done. Well, then a course would be perfect, because they film the videos once, maybe take an hour, a week off their time to do it. And then, over a month, they'll have all the content there. And then all they need to do is essentially promote it, right? And it's very passive for them, passive for you. And this is perfect because minimal time involvement. And once you've done it once, you can make sales again and again and again without additional time. So it's very high leverage. And then a second one, it could be like, if they are more active and they do want to contribute more and build something, you might actually offer a community. So it could be a course and a community, right? So this community will have other members that they can network with and provide value to each other. Because a lot of the times people just want a support network or other people on the same journey as them. So that's another example. Or let's say they're really motivated and they're like, willing to go all in and make as much money as possible, well then it could literally be like a group or one-on-one coaching. So they will hop on calls with their clients and actually like help them get to their dream outcome. So yeah, it honestly depends on all the factors that I mentioned, but this is essentially how you'd go about building a product for the influencer. And then another thing is like, okay, let's say you launch it, now what? Well, what you want to do is consistently promote it. So coming out with new angles for the influencer to talk about, to promote this product, creating new forms of traffic. So this could be email marketing, this could be a different social media platform if they haven't been posting on there yet. And eventually it could be ads even. But firstly, I'd recommend starting with the organic traffic from the influencer. And then once you are generating income, you can allocate a portion of that to running paid ads. But yeah, that's later down the line. And yeah, so what you want to do as well is find the bottlenecks and find the things that are stopping the business from growing, right? So their main things are like, okay, how many people are coming through to the website? And let's say not many of them are purchasing the product. Then you know, okay, well, it's either the messaging from the influencer's side or it might be the actual website itself. And so what you want to do is test one thing at a time. So you're going to be able to see what made the change. If you change multiple things, it's going to be very hard for you to understand what made the difference and, you know, where the new revenue is actually attributed to. So if it's, for example, maybe people are joining but then they're leaving, then you know, okay, you know, the course, the community might not be good enough, so I need to make some changes. I need to make it so that members want to stay longer, and that's where you'd be focusing on. So yeah, once you launch, that's not the end, that's the beginning, and you have just launched a digital offer that you need to grow. That think of it like a plant, right? You need to constantly water it for that plant to grow. Let's say you put a plant in the ground and you leave it and say, what do I do now? Well, you need to water it, right? So that's the same thing as this online business. And it's something that you can do long term. So unlike dropshipping, where you constantly have to test new products, or agency where you constantly have to get more clients, this one you can literally do with one client. That's what I did, or even 3 if you want, and grow them, manage them, and spend months up to years even building this digital product, scaling it, growing it. And so this is what this type of business is. And yeah, I hope that kind of gives you more clarity around what shadow operating is. But yeah, honestly, we covered why I believe shadow operating is the best model, how you can get started, the steps to take, what product to build, like what does it look like after you launch. So yeah, if you guys are serious about starting a shadow operating business for yourself, well then I'd encourage you to click that first link in the description. You can actually apply to work with me one-on-one. I do take on a limited amount of clients simply because it is my time and I can only work with, a limited amount of people at once. But if there's still spots open, apply, and then, I'm more than happy to have a chat with you and see if I can actually help you. And then let's say you do come on as a client, what I'll do is help you go from basically where you are right now and take you through A to Z, my entire process that I've basically used to generate over 7 figures for myself, and share that with you so that you can go out and get your first client and start generating revenue in the next 90 days. And so that's it for this video. Hope you guys liked it. If you did, like, subscribe, and see you on the next one.